Hi, I'm Lee. I'm a New Zealander living in the East Riding of Yorkshire, and this is my podcast about my handmade life. You can find me on Instagram as Louleigh _ and on Ravelry as Louleigh, and I have an Etsy shop where I sell knitting needle cases and notions cases at shop Louleigh. But you can find links to all of my online places at louleigh.com. Welcome, it's really nice to have you here. I have shifted back to the kitchen today. As you can see, I used to podcast here quite a while ago, and the hairy man has gone offshore, so I don't have to worry about someone coming in and wanting to make a cup of tea. Our kitchen is not particularly large, and if I reach out like this, I'm actually touching the wall on the other side. So it's a bit of an annoyance for him if I'm sitting here doing things and podcasting when he comes in and wants to use the kitchen, which is why I don't usually come here. But the light is so nice in this room that I do like to drag my chair in here, especially in the winter, because the oven is right here and it's really toasty and warm. In fact, today it's probably a little too hot, but never mind, I've got the windows open, so that's okay. But that's also why I'm not wearing any knitwear today, because I'm sat right next to this thing with all the heat chuffing out, and I have a nice warm dog on my lap as usual, so that's just how it goes. I just wanted to start today with a quick shop update. Everything in my shop this weekend is 10% off, so if you want to buy your friends some Christmas presents or treat yourself, then now is a good time to do it. And I have also added to the shop my new enamel pin. I thought it would be fun, as the Stash Appreciation Society has been going for a couple of years now. Oh, is that going to focus there? I hope so. I hope you'll be able to see it. I thought it would be fun to have an enamel pin for that. And the light is reflecting on my viewfinder, so I can't actually see what you're seeing there, but if that isn't focused and nice and clear, then I shall pop a photograph in here so that you can see it. But yeah, so that is 10% off as well, and I have Knit Pro Zing DPNs in the common sock sizes over there as well, and stocked up with notions cases and knitting needle cases too. The other reason I'm sat in the kitchen is that I actually have a loaf of bread on the go that is about to be ready to go in the oven, so if my alarm goes off then I shall jump up and do that. This is Community News, and in the Louleigh Ravelry group we have the, I've got to remember what I called this now, the Advent Calendar cow running. I've started a thread for it, and people have been talking about what calendars they have and what projects they plan to make during Advent. So I thought I would show you the Advent calendars that I've been putting together, which are just down in front of me here. So the first one I've been making is, I've just popped into one of my Christmas bags from last year, and I've just been putting the minis in these candy bags. So that one is all packed up and ready to go off. It is fit to burst in, and yeah, all good to go. I've also been using this cabinet, which I was gifted last year with my Advent calendar. It doesn't fit a full 10 gram mini, but for one swap that I do, we only put 5 grams in, because we're knitting a pair of socks, and you need less than 100 grams of yarn, and 5 grams is just plenty. But I really liked this cabinet. I've had it on my dressing table up in the bedroom for most of the year, and I've just been putting leftovers of yarn in it as I finish things during the year. It's not quite full yet. The drawers at the bottom are a little bit bigger, so I can put some goodies in there. But the thing that I really like about this is that it's quite sweet and it's reusable, so it's really easy just to have it there and fill it up during the year. And with that in mind, I was having a chat about another friend of mine, and we weren't sure if she was going to have the time to make advent calendars this year. This is someone that we usually swap with, and we just thought that it would be a bummer if she couldn't participate because she'd had other things on her plate. So I sent off and just ordered this hanging advent calendar that has quite large pockets. This is another one where I only need to put 5-gram minis in here, so there's plenty of room in there for the mini and maybe an extra treat as well. I think the pockets are about 7 centimetres square, so they do need to be reasonably large. I think some advent calendars come with, you know, especially if you're going to put a 10-gram mini in, you would need something with a reasonably large pocket. And I think what I'll do when I start to load this up is to just scrunch a bit of tissue paper around the things that are inside the pocket so you can't look down into it and see. I also like that this is just a long hanging thing, and so it doesn't take up a lot of space, a bit like the cabinet. I was looking at other wooden cabinets, and often they have things on top, and some of them are LED lit. I don't really want to get something that was battery operated or had an electrical circuit in it that might fail in the future. I just wanted something that was really reusable. But I thought that that was really good fun and a quick way of putting together an advent calendar without having to do a lot of wrapping or finding anything too special. So, and once, you know, if you have a few friends that you're swapping with and you put some of these into circulation amongst yourselves, you're going to get something different every year. So I thought those were really nice. I'm watching my bread timer down here to see if I can jam in another segment before it goes off and jingles at you all. So this is the sock segment, and I've realised that I haven't brought any sock blockers along. I don't have any finished socks to show you. I'm showing you my sock mending. These are Hairy Man socks. He is wearing his woolly socks a lot, not so much because they're wool or particularly comfortable or that he has any preference about that, but because they actually fit. I have come to realise that the hairy man really likes his socks to fit in the calf, and so he knew that I had finished mending these, and as he was packing his bag to go offshore, he came and asked, "Have you showed the podcast my socks yet?" because he wanted to take them away with him, and he has very kindly left them so that I can display my mending skills to you guys. Oh, poor hairy man was thwarted in his sock packing. So I've once again, on the sock that had the hole in, I've actually ripped out the bottom of the heel flap. If I put the other hand in, I can operate the camera and maybe show you this. So I've ripped out and re-knitted the heel flap here, and I've also put in some Swiss darning. You can see where I've had to reattach this. I think of all the mends that I've showed you so far, this is probably the messiest, which I'm quite proud about, because, you know, if this is my messiest mend, I think I'm doing quite well, because actually this was one of the most complicated as well, in terms of how little I ripped out this time and how much sewing back together there was to do. Yeah, I just had to, down the side of the heel flap here, I've had to graft that back together, and I haven't done it particularly neatly, but that's okay, it still works, and that sock will be allowed to go back offshore next time. On the other sock though, I've noticed that all of the holes that the hairy man is getting in his socks are all in the same place. They're on the, let me show you this, they're on the back of the heel here, just on the bottom of the heel. And this one was getting thin as well. I have Swiss darned it, which I really enjoy doing. It's really good fun. I think I've mentioned before that I did a course with Tom of Holland at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival this year and really enjoyed the Swiss darning, and it's so easy to do and it just reinforces the heel there. And I asked the hairy man whether or not he could feel that on the bottom of his foot, and he said no, that didn't bother him at all. So I'm wondering two things. Given that this is the part that I know is going to wear out of his sock, I'm wondering in future if I just Swiss darn it and reinforce it right from the beginning. And I'm also wondering if I should use a different type of heel construction that is more easy for me to, that would make it easier for me to cut the sock apart and completely re-knit the heel. So those are the things I have been thinking about for the next pair of hairy man socks. I still have one more pair of socks to mend in my mending bag here, which are mine, which is unusual. I tend not to get hold of my socks. I think I've actually caught them on something. So that, yeah, I'll have to get onto that this week and mend those socks. So I've just had to move my bread around and reset my timer. With our oven, it's at one temperature all of the time. We don't change the temperature of the oven, but we have two ovens. The one at the top is about 250 degrees Celsius, and then the one at the bottom is about 150 degrees Celsius. And so I put the bread in the top oven for about 10 minutes to put a crust on it so that it's structurally sound, and then I put it in the bottom oven just to make sure that it gets cooked right through. And I usually leave it there for about half an hour because I don't like a really crusty bread, but a couple of weeks ago I left the bread in there for about 3 hours and completely forgot about it and was wondering why the house had this wonderful aroma of bread all around. It wasn't burnt or anything, but it was very, very crusty. So it does add a little bit of crust, but mainly I have it down there just to make sure that it is properly cooked in the middle without putting too much crust. If I left it in the top oven to cook for another 10 minutes, yeah, it would have a really chewy crust on it. So I have been shifting my bread around. I don't know if this is interesting for the podcast or not, but anyway, hey ho. The next thing I have to talk to you about was actually a really lovely gift that I was sent by my friend Mary, who is Mary in the Mutts on Instagram. She has two lovely little Lhasa Apso dogs, and my little friend who you often see here is a Lhasa as well. Yeah, so I really enjoy her posts on Instagram. But she sent me this wonderful bag and an embroidery kit that she has been working on, and it is for this snowman here. So I don't have the packaging. It was beautifully packaged when I got it. Oh, here we go. I haven't completely disassembled the packaging. So it is Mary's Makery, and she sent me a really sweet kit to do the snowman as well, and it had everything in it that I needed. There was nothing that I had to go rifling around for. The hoop was there all ready to go. She had done a thing that I didn't realise I was supposed to do with embroidery hoops. She had let me show you this, already wrapped fabric around the inside hoop there to make it grip better. I had no idea that that was a thing, and it works. So yeah. But I sat here last weekend because, as I said, the kitchen is really nice and light, and started my snowman. And I've been thoroughly enjoying this. It's really good fun. I think the thing that I've liked about this kit is it's very beginner friendly. I think she sent it to me to test, so I don't think she has these for sale yet, and I'm not sure if they're going to be for sale online or somewhere else, but I'll let you know when she's finished putting the kit together and finished testing it. Yeah, so I just sat here. It's a beginner friendly kit and had lots of fun just, yeah, enjoying stitching. I think the thing is that I have some other embroidery kits that tend to languish because they tend to use some more complicated stitches that I'm not incredibly confident with and take me a little more time, and I feel like maybe they require a little more accuracy or something like this. But this was just like colouring in. This is not my first embroidery experience. I've done a little bit of embroidery throughout my life. I have my brownie badge in embroidery. I wonder if that counts as a qualification. Yeah, but as I say, this was just super good fun, and I just have to finish off the hat in the top. You colour it in with grey. And what I've decided to do is to do what Mary did. I'm going to make a bag with the snowman on it, and then I'm just going to, when I'm finished making the bag, I thought I would pass it on by drawing from the chatter thread for the advent calendar cowl and give it to someone who's been participating in that thread. I just thought that would be really good fun, and as I have gotten a lovely bag out of this transaction, I thought one of you should too. Yeah. So this morning I also sat down, and as I had my breakfast I also finished off the Jones cardigan. I just had the ends to weave in and the buttons to sew on. And I was all excited to show it to you in its finished glory, and I realised that I still have to wash it and block it. But anyway, I thought I would show you, yeah, the finished cardigan as it is now. I had the buttons actually in my button box, and when I showed them on Instagram they looked navy, but I don't know if you can see there that they're actually this really nice teal colour that sits on the cardigan really nicely. I really like the teal against the brick colour of the cardigan. I don't think I have much else to say about the pattern. I didn't make any modifications, I just knit it as it was. I haven't even weighed this to know how many grams it is towards knit 1000 grams. So, but it is finished and it's ready to gift. If you're new to cables, then this is a really nice pattern to try because the cables are quite easy and straightforward, and there's a few other interesting things happening as well. And I really like the shawl collar. I thought that the shaping on that was really thoughtful. I find I've knitted other shawl collars and they don't stay folded over like this really well. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it, and I'm just trying to decide if I can save it till Christmas to gift. Oh, there we go. It's changed the colour register there, and that's actually pretty accurate. I think you can see the colour of the buttons pretty well. I'm not sure where I got them from. They were on a card, just a wonkily cut out piece of cardboard that was labelled 50p. So there's a good chance that they'd been sewn onto the card. There's a good chance that I just picked those up in a charity shop when I saw them one day, and there were just enough buttons there, and I think they go really well. The last thing that I've put a bit of work on this week is my custom fit jersey. You will be forgiven to have if you've forgotten that I was even knitting this, I've just finished the back actually. I got this out just because it was the hairy man and I had been watching a few movies, and it's really just straightforward stocking stitch knitting, and because it's stocking stitch and this is the back, it's all rolling so you can't see any sort of shaping there at all. I'm knitting this out of Malabrigo sock. I've forgotten what the colour is, but I had 3 skeins in one dye lot and then 1 skein in another, and they were quite different. So I've tried to blend the darkest skein into the bottom here, and I've saved a bit to do the back. No, this is the back. To do the same on the front. I'm not sure, you can really see a line there when I hold it up like this. I think it looks okay. I was considering whether I have the flat side of the stocking stitch on the outside or if I have the bumpy bit on the outside, because I thought that looked like it was blending together a little more fluidly, but when I hold it up like this you can still see that line, and it may just look like I have my jersey on inside out all the time. So I'm not sure which way I'm gonna sew it. I think maybe I will just put the flat side out and see how that goes. This yarn actually started off, I had always gotten it with the intention of making a really lightweight jersey, and I've pulled it out because I've started to feel like I really need to have this in my wardrobe now just to throw on over top of things. So I had started out by knitting, and I've knitted the sleeves using the pattern from Anne Budd's Book of Sweaters, I think that's what it's called. I'll link it in the show notes anyway. It's the one where it's got lots of different gauges and sizes, so you just pick the gauge that you're knitting with the yarn that you've got, and then select your size and just knit from there. But it got, so I knitted the sleeves when I was on holiday in Edinburgh with Mum. Was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year. And then I got to the body part and thought, do I want shaping, do I not want shaping, and how much ease do I want, and I had all these questions, and where do I want to put ease. I had all these questions rattling around in my head, and so I decided to take the path of least resistance. My numbers are already in Amy Herzog's custom fit software, I guess it is, on the website there, and so it's really easy for me to just go on and decide what features that I want on a jersey and to just print out a pattern that works. And I've shown my custom fit garments here before, and as I say, I get a lot of nice comments on the fit of those garments, so I thought that it was worth just doing that. The patterns I think are a little bit at the pricey end, but if you don't want to do maths, it's not that I can't do maths, I just couldn't be bothered to do maths. If you don't want to do maths and to think about ease and fit, but you just want a garment that does fit, then it's just such a simple option to do. So I am working on that. I've done the back, and so I need to undo the sleeves and reclaim some yarn. I don't think I have all 4 skeins of yarn together. There is another one floating around somewhere that I need to locate as well. But I shall be casting on the front of that this week, I think. It's just a good alternative to socks because it is really easy knitting, and I quite like knitting in pieces because it's fitting in my little, just a small bag here, and that's all I need to carry around with me. This is a little Bobbins bag. Yeah, her sock size I think, or something like that. So my focus for this week is going to be the custom fit jersey and the Snowman embroidery, and turning that into a bag for one of you, and my sock mending, I think. Yeah, it'd be nice to get those back into circulation. it's been really lovely to actually change location and come and have a little chat with you. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and like below, and you're welcome to comment as well. It's always lovely when you pop over to the Louleigh Ravelry group and introduce yourself and join in there. Just a quick reminder that this weekend there is a 10% sale on over in my shop if you do want to stock up on Christmas presents or anything like that. And I hope that you'll subscribe and come and join me next time. Cheerio!